Hi, I'm Rich Lyons.
I'm Deanna Joy Lyons.
We're with the Living After Faith podcast.
We've got a really special treat for you. This is a giant magical crossover episode full of love, and it's all dedicated to supporting one person. Marissa Alexa Lennex-McCool is an amazing person in our podcasting community, in our online communities, and kind of almost a member of our family now. And I know a lot of people feel that way about her. She's a performer. She's a prolific author. She's an LGBT rights and atheist activist. She co-founded the Trans Podcaster Visibility Network. She's the host of the Inciting Incident and the Cis Are Getting Out of Hand podcast. She produces a number of other shows, and she helps out a lot of other podcasters, helping them get their start, doing production, giving them advice, and she's also a really rad guest. Now, what's happening is coming very soon, she's going to get her very own science vagina.
Yay, science vagina.
Yay, science vagina. And she needs a little bit of support as she goes into this, both emotionally and from her community and financially. So we're hoping to tell everyone how awesome Marissa is and to drum up a little support. She probably needs to hear how loved she is right now. She has been through some things recently that were pretty tough and feel like she could really use a surprise podcast episode all about how rad she is and helping to get her through the tough times a little bit. So we've gathered together an assortment of podcasters and activists and friends of Marissa's, and we've got messages of love and support for her from all over the place, and everyone is coming together to show her some love. And we're all releasing this episode on our own podcast feeds at the same time to show an overwhelming amount of love and support for Marissa. So you guys are going to get a kick out of this. Marissa almost twigged to our secret surprise episode here. What we did is we created a Facebook chat group, you know, one of those multi-million people all chatting on Facebook. And we accidentally named it Shh, Don't Tell Rissy. And so her partner, fiance, Devin, has been having notifications pop up that say, Shh, Don't Tell Rissy. And she twigged to the secret. And thankfully, she's got a lot more self-control than I would have, or she would have known this was coming. So surprise, Rissy. I know you knew something was coming, but you probably didn't realize it was this. So if you want to show a little support for Rissy and help her out during this time, you can find her GoFundMe page, Operation Science Vagina Recovery. You can search for it through there, or you can find it on several of our Facebook pages. Everybody's been posting about it. Marissa's website with links to a lot of her writing and information about her, as well as podcasts that she's worked on, can be found at rissmccool.com. You can also donate to her there and sponsor her on Patreon for all of the great writing and podcasting that she's creating. We have donated ourselves, and we encourage you to. And if you can't, you can share the link. She needs all the help she can get right now because times are a little rough. Coming up now, you're going to hear people tell their stories about why Marissa is such a valuable member of the podcasting community, the trans community, why she is so cool and so loved, why we have so much to be grateful for that she has done. She has given and given of herself to other people. She stands up for those who can't stand up for themselves. She is a badass, and she is just a machine. She's always got something cool that she's doing on the burner. Before we get into those, Rich has a little bit to say about what Marissa has done for him.
I've never met Marissa face to face. We've had encounters on Facebook mainly, but Marissa is someone I deeply love and appreciate on a level that goes deeper, way deeper than Facebook can go. I guess it's been almost a couple of years ago now. Rissy came to Seattle, and she met my best friend Devin. And Devin and I go all the way back to the beginning of Devin. And Devin lived here in Seattle with us, and we were in contact all the time. And that's a great thing when your best friend is there and you can always reach them. That is a wonderful thing. And I enjoyed that so much, but I also knew Devin wasn't happy here, that the life they were in here wasn't working, and they wanted a better and a more beautiful life. And when Devin and Rissy met, the best I can figure out, it was love at first sight. And they have now become fiancés, and it's the most beautiful story I could ever see. But Rissy, what you did is you took my best friend away from me, but you loved my best friend better than I can, or better than I ever could. You're giving what there's no way I ever could give, and I can release, I can let go. Because I don't really have to release or let go, but my best friend's not around the corner. We can't have that slow dab together, but Devin is just so happy now, and that makes me happy to the core of who I am. And seeing Devin this happy, happier than I've ever seen them in my life. And I've known them all their life. Seeing Devin so happy just thrills me and makes me so happy. And Rissy, that just tells me, knowing Devin the way I do and seeing how happy Devin is, makes me know that you are one awesome woman. And I thank you for being that. Thank you for being there.
And now let's hear some more messages of love and thanks and support for Rissy.
Hello, friends. This is Bethany Turner from the Transatlantic Geekcast, which we're hoping will be available to hear soon. But right now, I have a few things to say about Marissa McCool. I first came to know Rissy through Facebook. I don't remember if it was me who first sent her a friend request, or if it was her who sent me one, but that's how I became a listener of her podcast, The Cis Are Getting Out of Hand. My first reaction to that show was it was just so cathartic for me. It wasn't about educating cisgender people, or activism, or reaching across the aisle. It was about trans people being there for each other, commiserating about how awful the world can be to us, and making fun of the common faux pas of cis folks, whether they're well-meaning or otherwise. The Cis Are Getting Out of Hand started in a time that was one of the darkest of my life. I was struggling with working for an awful employer, doing a job I hated, and I experienced heartbreak and depression from which I wasn't sure I'd ever recover. But having Rissy's show to look forward to on a weekly basis really helped me pull through long enough for what began as the worst year of my life to end up as one of the best. I've had the great privilege of being a guest on her show twice now, and Riss is someone I don't just think of as a friend anymore. I think of her as family. So, Marissa Alexa Lennex-McCool, you are a wonderful woman, an amazing speaker and activist. You've made me laugh, you've made me cry, and you've made me think. I wish you all the best going forwards with your operation. I know you'll be in good hands, and I hope you have a good recovery, and you enjoy your new science vagina. I love you lots.
You're listening to Charlotte Page, also from the Transatlantic Geekcast. I'd like to take a moment and shine some light away from our podcast and onto a friend in the trans community. I first heard Marissa McCool on someone else's podcast, and from the first moment of the interview, I was interested. She had a lot of interesting things to say. She's an attention grabber, not an attention seeker. When she speaks, somehow you feel compelled to listen. She doesn't just have something to say that makes you want to listen, but she's a friendly voice, a friendly person, and that's the part about her which asked me to listen. After that first interview, I started going through bits and pieces of older episodes of her shows, trying to find out more about her. What's she really like? I mean, she can't be like this all the time, right? And what I found was more depth than I expected. There were guests having serious conversations with her who were willing to put themselves in a state with her that I could not imagine myself doing, except with the closest of friends. I closed down my old Facebook account because I knew I would have a problem not outing myself privately and it running public because the people I was friending were coworkers in a very toxic masculinity sort of work environment. I figured that would be the end of me on Facebook. But then something Riss did on Twitter made me reconsider. I opened a new Facebook account under the name I was discovering for myself and requested her as one of my first friends. Through her, I've made some new friends who I also hope to have a long and interesting relationship with. I found that while 1 or 2 hours out of 168 aren't a lot, It's the things she does in between those hours that really show who she is. If you take a moment and listen to the other voices on this, you'll hear more stories of people that Riss has had a positive influence on over the course of her life. I've only gotten to know her for a few months, but it's been a pleasant whirlwind. I'd like to get to know her better. I appreciate that she's a voice in my life now, with everything she's gone through, going through, everything she will go through later. I wish her well.
This is Skeptic Brett from the Atheist on High podcast. Just calling to wish all the love and happiness to Rissy. I'm sorry I couldn't record anything actually in the studio. I've just been working. That's actually where I'm calling from, is work right now. But anyway, Rissy, we all love you, and best of luck.
Hi, Rissy. It's Ingrid. I have always been a great fan of you. It was great to meet you in person so many times. I love picking you up, and from my system of altars to yours, thank you for being a great person. I hope you're having a great time.
Hey, Rich and Deanna, this is Zach Law of the Zach Religion Cast. Rissy Monster, Marissa Alexa McCool, the Pompatus of Love. I just want to send my love to you and best of luck with your surgery and your recovery and your continued awesomeness. This community is not the same without you, so recover quickly because we're going to need you, and I'm going to need some guests on my show on the Zach Religion Cast at some point. So, love ya. Best of luck. Keep kicking butt.
Here's a timely reference to current events, and welcome to The Sis Are Getting Out of Hand. I'm Marissa Alexa McCool, and with me is my wonderful co-host, the one and only, Ari Stillman.
Hey, Riss! Heck the sis! That rhymes!
Wait, why are you me in this skit? I should play myself.
'Cause you're trans, and me playing Riss would be problematic.
I have to admit your puberty voice is pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Let's do it. Welcome to our show. And good news, everyone, in order to heck the sis even more than I usually do with my very existence, I'm getting a vagina soon.
I hate the sis and them obsessing over my vagina. Science fact, no trans people actually has a vagina.
That's not true. I have one.
No, you're playing Riss. You're gonna get the surgery.
The surgery? This is why we don't let cis people on our show, Jeremiah.
Ari!
No, shut up. We're here to wish Rissy the best on her vagina, and you're ruining it with your badness.
It's okay. I have a trans partner.
Derby.
Ari!
Fine. Alright, back to the skit. Okay, as we do every week, let's heck the cis. This week, I'm gonna heck all the cis women. You wanna know why? Because they don't have a science vagina like I'm gonna have, and they can suck a fuck.
Ah, shit, heck yes. That's the best one. Heck cis women. What are you gonna do with your science vagina?
Aiden. And also Devin.
Aw, man, that sounds like a heckin' party.
Yeah. And no cis allowed inside me.
Yeah. So, between you and me, Jerby fucks me real good.
I would not say that.
I love penis.
What the heck? I would not say that, Jerby.
You know who else hates penis?
Who?
You, Marissa Alexa McCool, who I am talking to right now at this very moment. You're gonna get it whacked off like a hot dog, meeting the blade of a hot ginsu knife, and then they'll drill a dual-function fuckhole/pee hole into you.
That is not how that works.
Right. Sorry, I forgot it's also a poop hole.
What the fuck?
It's fine. I have a trans partner.
Anyway, Riss, as the actual Ari, thanks for hecking this sis with me every week, except the weeks when I am too busy hating myself to come on the show, so thank you for being understanding about that, and the sis need a hecking real bad, and I can't think of anyone I would rather do it with than you. We both love you, and we wish you the best for your surgery and your recovery.
My name's Ari, and TERFs are like gender, but even worse. Put that on a t-shirt.
TERFs are like gender? Is that what you said? What does... Oh, I get it, because I don't like gender. Yeah.
My gender's a box.
Your gender's about to be a dead son of a bitch. Oh, shut up. We're here to risk... No, shut up. We're here to whisk... This is too difficult.
Hi there, this is Amy with a Y. I am the better half of the Secular Soup podcast and the one who spells her name correctly. But I'm here to talk today about Marissa. We all know and love Marissa, and I met Marissa on Facebook like I'm sure a lot of other people did. It wasn't too long before we became friends on Facebook that I found out that she lived in the same state that I do. And when Amy and I came up with our idea for a podcast, we had kicked it around for a while, and we, kept talking on the phone and trying to figure out the logistics, and it just, being busy people, it took us months and months to figure out how we were going to go about this. So I decided to reach out to Marissa, and I sent her a private message asking if, she could talk to me about podcasting a little bit. And not only did she respond to me, but she asked if I wanted to go out to lunch or breakfast or just get together someday with her since we live so close. And I thought that was amazing. And we quickly made a plan to go out for breakfast one day to have pancakes. And I met her, and I was a little bit starstruck at first because this was someone I had been listening to their podcast and had never met in person. And she was just, from the minute I met her, gave me a big hug, was just warm and friendly and kind. And we went out for pancakes, and, I wanted to ask a few things about podcasting. And as soon as I even brought up the topic, she immediately offered to let Amy and I use her platform to produce our podcast. She offered to be our producer right there on the spot without even really knowing us that well, which just shows, what she went and got herself into, but that's neither here nor there. But she was just amazing. She offered to let us do this, at no cost to us, to help us however she could. She was right there to give us advice on the logistics of how you podcast, to let us use her software. She just really did give us the push we needed to get us started, and we will forever be grateful to her about that. So not only did she do that, but she's also an author. So she, at the time I met her, was in the process of writing, I think, her 5th book. And we got to talking about writing and how I love to write. I just never have time to do it anymore. But it used to be an outlet of mine, and I love doing it. And she asked me if I would like to put an essay in her book. And again, it shocked me. I was moved by that because she had, she believed in me enough to let me just write something. And she told me, just send it to me, whatever you have, so I wrote up this essay where I talked about my son and his struggles with anxiety and how that affected me as a parent, in relation to his school. So I kind of told a story about being at his school and talking to the counselors. And it was therapeutic for me to get that written out and on paper. But when I sent it to Marissa, I remember I didn't hear anything back for a little bit. And I just thought, oh, it's the worst thing ever. And so I finally asked, I got to ask, is it okay? What did you think? Did you read it? And right away, she just said, it's brilliant. It's perfect. I love it. It's great the way it is. And it made me feel wonderful. And so I just wanted to come on here and say, Marissa, we love you. She has done so much for so many people, and stuff that she'll never know about, just by having the conversations that she has on her podcasts and by producing the material she does through her books. She reaches people in a way that she'll never fully understand, I don't think. And we need more people like her in the world, more people speaking out and standing up and not being afraid to say the things that need to get said. And I just wanted to share that with you all. So, listen to Marissa's podcast, listen to The Inciting Incident, The Sister Getting Out of Hand, buy her books. Her books are amazing. Not just the one I'm in, but all the books are really amazing. She is a wonderful human being, and I love her. Love you, Marissa.
And I'm Amy with an I. The first time I heard Marissa was on Cognitive Dissonance. She did an interview that was so beautiful and vulnerable and raw. And for the first time ever, I fangirled, and I reached out and messaged her and told her that her interview was profound and beautiful. And I wanted to thank her for sharing that with the world and for touching me. And, she responded, and we messaged back and forth and ended up in a couple groups. And over the years, we became friends. And then she took a chance on me and produced my podcast and saw something in me that I didn't even really believe was there. And I am forever grateful for everything that Marissa is, and her strength and wisdom and willingness to be vulnerable and real and raw, to continue to touch people and show everybody that it's okay to be vulnerable. And I love her for it. I'm also crazy jealous that she met the lesser of the two Amy's. Amy with a Y.
We're just going to take a quick little break here. If you want to know more about Marissa in her own words, there's an excellent episode of the Atheist Manifesto podcast with Callie Wright, where Marissa tells a lot of her story. And that is episode number 168. I'll be putting a link in the show notes so you can find that. And I wanted to mention the ways that you can support Rissy without just using the GoFundMe. She's a very prolific writer. She's written 6 books and has a 7th in the works, if I've got it right. And this kind of communication, this is pretty much all that she has studied for and learned for and done her whole life up. She graduated from the University of Pennsylvania with degrees in English, cinema and media studies, and anthropology, and also studying theater, Shakespeare, and communication theory. So you can see why her being a speaker and a writer, a podcaster, that is all something that is very familiar territory and why she is so rad at it. If you go to her website, rissmccool.com, you can purchase several of her books. She's got some that sound like a lot of fun. Taking Bumps, How I Made $49 in Pro Wrestling.
I've got to get that book. I did not realize she had a book about being a pro wrestler, and I have got to get that book. I cut my teeth on pro wrestling as a kid, and I don't follow the modern stuff right now, but still keep up with it in a nostalgic kind of way. So I think that one would be an absolute hoot for me.
I promise I will buy you that book as soon as we're done recording. She also wrote The PC Lie, How American Voters Decided I Don't Matter. And that was written in the wake of the 2016 election of President Trump. So that was a very raw and thorough look about how trans issues ended up being kind of a big divisive section of election politics at the time. And if I remember correctly, she wrote that book in like 9 or 10 days, just pounded it all out with her amazing communication to let everybody know basically what happened there. Her most recent book is called Passing Cars, The Internal Monologue of a Neurodivergent Trans Girl. And you can become a patron of her work at patreon.com/RissMC. So hit up that GoFundMe, Operation Science Vagina Recovery, or go check out her website, rissmccool.com, and you can find all sorts of great stuff, things to read and things to do to support Marissa. And let's get back into the messages of love.
Hey Marissa, this is Maddie from Minnesota Trans Atheist Podcast and Atheists Suck. And I know you know all that, but I just get in this groove of saying that when I introduce myself on a podcasty thing. You have been hearing a lot of voices, I sincerely hope, because there's lots and lots of people that honestly and truly love you. I was going to script out something to say because I am really shitty at coming up with stuff just off the top of my head, extemporaneously, because I am not as verbose and loquacious as you are. And that's actually one of the things I wanted to say thank you for every time that, I guess it's only been one time, no, twice, that we have spoken anything together. I stress out about it so much, and you walk in with this confidence, whether you have it or not, you exude this confidence. And it's not like a false confidence, because you just come in and you own the fucking room. It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to listen to. It's beautiful to be around. And that's just one part of you that I love, that I appreciate, and that I am happy to have met. One of the other big things that you have done for my life, and this is for me personally, is you have helped. I was out as trans long before I met you. I had been doing a podcast for 2 years before I met you. And yet somehow after I met you, you helped me see myself more hey, I'm not just trans, but it's okay that I'm trans. And I knew that on a rational level. For some reason, being around you, chatting with you, having you challenge me on a few things, and I can't think of anything in particular, but I would say something that was a little self-deprecating, about well, because I'm trans or whatever, and you'd be basically own that shit. You would stand up to me and And I really appreciate it. I don't even know if you knew that you were standing up to it, but like, you didn't just let me say stupid shit. You held me accountable. And I don't know if I can value something in a friendship more than somebody who's able to hold me accountable and do it from like a standpoint of love, not like a standpoint of, I got you, you know, I'm going to point out your flaws. I don't know. That may not mean something to a lot of people. I don't know, because I'm not a lot of people. I'm me. But what you did for me is fantastic. And so what I wanted to do for you is, because I know how laughter is like the best medicine. I don't know if that's true. That's woo. We're both skeptics, so hey, fuck it. But I'm going to go with that anecdote for right now, because I know how much it means to you to laugh. And I know how much you enjoy the quality of jokes that you normally hear coming out of my mouth, or out of my Facebook posts, or at the end of my podcast or whatnot. So I know that you appreciate these high quality jokes. And so I'm having this big long run up so that the entire time you can be like, shit, I can't reach the player to hit skip. Fuck. Will I get there in time? And yet that entire time, you know, these bad jokes are coming. And so the first one is, what do ghosts play in the school band? Haunting melodies. I mean, come on. That is comedy gold. Why did the artist take a sketch pad to bed with her? So she could draw the curtains. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Where is the English channel? I don't think we get that on our TV. Well, I mean, I do. It's BBC America, but that's not the point. That is really not the point. I'm just reading off like show notes that I have, and I have an entire list of jokes that I can pull from my show notes. But man, I'm sure you're loving this. One tectonic plate bumped into another and said, "Sorry, my fault." Yeah. See, that one actually made me laugh for real. So I know you're like, just like busting a gut laughing. You're like, oh, the incision's hurting. The incision's hurting. So I'm sorry about the pain that I'm causing you, like on a physical level, but I know that emotionally, this is really curing you of anything that you could like, you know, any hurt you're having emotionally. That these jokes, I know they're healing that. And, you know, I'm glad I could be there for you. So the future, the present, and the past walked into a bar, and things got a little tense. Yeah. A pet store had a bird contest. No purchase necessary. That's great. Yeah. Or a pet store had a fish contest. No purchase necessary. Yeah. It works either way. That's why this is comedy gold. Like, you can take that joke and you can use it in two totally different audiences. How many times have you actually been sitting there like, oh my God, I need to talk to a bunch of ornithologists and I need to have a good pun, and like, boom, you have one. But that same pun, if you're like, oh my God, it's Minnesota fishing opener. I need to have a good pun to speak at this Minnesota fishing opener. And bam, that pun works both ways. That's fucking awesome. You can't get better than that in comedy. You cannot get better than that in comedy. I'm telling you, this is great. I have to read you, at least one more. It's, doctor, I have a lettuce sticking out of my ear. That just may be the tip of the iceberg. Yes. It's a Titanic joke too. You can use that at a Titanic film festival where everybody is there to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Titanic. That who the fuck is going to care about Titanic in 50 years? Not me. Wait. Besides wood. Oh my God. I'm getting so emotional about this. Like, I lost my voice there for a minute. Besides wood, can you name a poor conductor? The music teacher. Yes, the music teacher. And I should know, because I am a shitty singer. I can't keep time. I couldn't even clap in church a long time when I went. All right. I think that's going to do it for the bad jokes because, you know, believe it or not, I do care. And you can only point towards the door and tell me to get out so many times. So, Marissa, really honestly, thank you for everything that you have done as part of my life. You are amazing. I am extremely grateful that you and your entire family have become part of my life. I don't know how to express that enough, and how to express my love for you enough, and how grateful I am for your friendship, and how grateful I am that you were in my life and have made such a positive impact. I really am happy that you have that brand new Mark II science vagina. I'm assuming it's shiny because brand new things are usually shiny. I guess. Yeah. I'm just, I have ran out of things to say. I'm sure so many more people that have submitted things have been much more put together and eloquent and, come off more clean. And frankly, I am to the point in my life right now that I don't give a fuck because I'm me. And to be honest, you're a piece of why I am who I am today. And I am eternally grateful. And I wish you all the best. I can't wait to see you again. Love you, Marissa. Bye-bye.
This is Rissy from Atheist Talk and Rissy's Talk. And the question for this project is, why do I love Marissa Alexa McCool? And that is a loaded question. I love Marissa for her wit, her witticisms, the factor that she is constantly reminding us to question our norms and question what we see and how we take things. I love her enthusiasm. Every single time I seem to turn around, she's doing something else. And she honestly makes me sound lazy, which is, she's just absolutely endless energy. And I'm really proud of her, of everything she and her family have accomplished. And she's a really good friend and someone who I'm excited and proud to say I know. And I love having her on Atheist Talk. She always brings fresh commentary and always makes me go, oh, right, that thing, that's a good question. And I love that about her, and I love her. So thank you, Marissa, for being here, and thank you for everything you've contributed. You are amazing and wonderful.
So the first time I met Marissa was when, it was on Facebook, I think. And I just friended her. And I come to find out later that she stood up for me when a lot of people started slandering me. And she still accepted me into her family. And the rest of her family accepted me, too. Having her as an ally and as a friend means the world to me. And when she let me record on the sister getting out of hand and be able to put my story out there, it just felt like that was a huge weight off my back. And I just want to say thank you, Rissy. It means a lot to me.
Hey, this is Celia, and I'm recording this for Marissa. I first heard of Marissa on Kelly Wright's podcast, The Atheist Manifesto Thanksgiving Special, just after Donald Trump's election. I remember on that episode there was something about Marissa that piqued my interest. Her personality, her views on social justice. She sounded like a fantastic person that I wanted to get to know her. So I subscribed to her Inciting Incidents podcast, sent her a friend request over Facebook, and I even read her book, The PC Lie. As I've gotten to know her better over Facebook through her podcasts, her writings, etc., I realized she was an amazing person with lots to admire. She's beautiful, she's smart, creative, witty, and a tough-ass Iron Lady who refused to shut her mouth when there's injustice. Like the story that she tells about her time in Penn State University where she said fuck you to a hatefully bigoted preacher on campus. She's one tough-ass badass that you don't want to fuck with, and I admire that about her. I feel like she's my kindred spirit, and as you all know, she's getting her new science vagina, and I'm just as excited as she is for her about it. Good luck, Rissy, and I love you.
Hello, this is Stevie Faithless, hostess of the Trans Punk Rock Girl podcast and Punk Rock Girl Extraordinaire. I have been invited to share nice things about my friend Marissa McCool as part of the Why We Love Rissy initiative. This is an easy peasy assignment for me since Rissy is so easy to love. I first encountered Rissy at the beginning of my gender transition. It was a rough time for me. I felt isolated and afraid, but knew I had to transition or risk losing my life. I listened to one of the atheist podcasts we all know. Might have been scathing, might have been citation needed. The first things I noticed about Rissy were how gorgeous she was, her great sense of humor, and her ability to hold her own with the guys. Her voice had a calming effect on me. I started to believe that if she could do whatever it was she was doing, so could I. It also helped that she was 100% vulgar and not concerned at all with the rules ladies are supposed to follow. I messaged Rissy on Instagram after that, thinking there was no way she would ever get back to me because she was such a big shot and probably had a ton of exciting projects going on at all times. But she did get back to me. She always treated me as her friend and peer, not as the goofy fangirl I must have come across as. I messaged her after a particularly rough incident, and she talked me down from the ledge. She told me she loved me, would always be there for me, and that I was valid and deserved to be happy. She said this enough times over the next few weeks that I finally believed it. Her love and support led directly to me creating my own podcast. Rissy Monster, I know I can't tell you what to do, but I hope you'll hear these messages from all of us and understand what a huge impact you've had. I love you. I am grateful for you, and I still want to be you when I grow up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Man Yells at News. Man Yells at News, because Zencastr sucks and fuck everything. Marissa Alexa McCool is my producer, a podcaster, an author, and a former wrestler, and an all-around amazing person who I wish I could just bottle up a 1/10 of her and inject it straight into my veins. Because I could just use an ounce of whatever it is she's got that makes her her. She is confident. She is driven. She's intelligent. Just the simple fact is the woman is all around amazing. And I just can't help but be amazed by her.
Hello, my name is Alicia Ann, and I'd like to send some love to my purple Amazon sister. My mom used to say to me, never let someone else determine how you treat others. One shining example of this in my life is Marissa. She is a consistent example of unconditional love and kindness to those around her. While conquering struggles and aspirations alike, her capacity to give runs very deep. She inspires me, from being unapologetically her authentic self, to using her voice to advocate for others, to being willing to give until it hurts. Hers is an example I intend to follow in my own life. I love you, my Rissy monster.
Hi, I'm Corey Johnston from the Brainstorm Podcast and the Hardcore Skeptic Examines. I've gone through 10 or 11 takes trying to come up with exactly the right words to describe what I admire about Marissa. Marissa Alexa McCool is a person who stands up for herself and stands up for others, cares about people, cares about not just the people close to her, but cares about all people, and she helps everyone that she can. I've had her on Brainstorm as a guest twice, and I interviewed her for my series called Skeptic Voices as well. And all 3 times I learned something new, not just about Marissa, but about the world, about myself. I have developed a deep empathy and a very strong caring for issues that transgender people face because of my interaction with not just Marissa, but for sure influenced by Marissa. She's an awesome interviewer. She's a sharing, caring podcaster who does awesome work. She's an amazing author who is not just prolific, but also writes quality work. She is important, I think, not just to me, but to our community.
Hi, this is Tris Mamone and Morgan Stringer of the Bi-Skeptical Podcast, and we're here to talk about why we love Marissa McCool. Let's start with you, Morgan. Why is Rissy so awesome?
Well, Rissy is so awesome because, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm so proud of her, and she's been an inspiration to me and so many people with her journey and her openness about that journey. And we all just wish her the best of luck and the best recovery. And I just want to thank you for everything that you do for this community. You deserve this so much. I'm so happy for you and proud of you. So I'm sending you lots and lots of love, and just know that you are so, so awesome. And you have so many people who are behind you and who support you.
And for me, even though I joke about having a rivalry with her, I really do love her, and I'm proud of what she's accomplished so far. She's a huge inspiration to me. Plus, if I may add some funny personal anecdotes, road tripping with her and Aiden is quite the experience. For example, on our way to ReasonCon last year, I found out that if they make an inside joke, it's usually about wrestling. Like when we hit North Carolina, they said, "We're here, run," and started playing the wrestler Bray Wyatt's entrance theme. So now every time I go on a trip and arrive at my destination, I have to say on Facebook, "I'm here, run." And there was another funny moment too. When we were in Virginia, at one point Marissa says, "My titty sprinkles are craving an Arby's roast beef sandwich." So we pulled into the first Arby's we came across, went to the bathroom, and Aiden forgot to get Marissa's sandwich. So we pulled into another Arby's and Marissa finally got the roast beef sandwich her titty sprinkles were craving.
Oh man, I don't have the titty sprinkles, but I do have those roast beef sandwich cravings. So, yeah, have a roast beef sandwich for me if you're craving it.
Must be an estrogen thing, I don't know.
Yeah, that and pickles.
Absolutely. So yes, Morgan and I want to wish Marissa all the luck in getting her science vagina. Who's a girl and a half? Marissa is a girl and a half.
Hell yeah.
Hi, this is Nathan Dickey, host of the podcast A Leap of Doubt. I'm here to talk about my good friend Marissa Alexa McCool. Most of you listening to me now already know Riss. She is an excellent writer, novelist, and poet, and the queen of secular podcasting as far as I'm concerned. Among the people who have taught and enlightened me the most about the issues facing the transgender community, she is near the top. She brilliantly and vocally confronted a hate preacher on a university campus in 2016. Shortly after that, in the space of 9 days, she wrote her first book, a heartfelt and a scathing critique of the cultural zeitgeist that enabled the rise of bigotry and anti-intellectualism and resulted in the election of Trump to the presidency. Her personal story of realizing who she really is and has been her whole life, and finding the courage and strength to become an activist and advocate for those who feel they do not have a voice, has been tremendously inspiring to me. The energy she puts into her work never ceases to amaze me, and I love how she challenges me to be the best I can be in my own work, especially given all the privileges I hold that she does not. Marissa, I love you and everything you're doing. I hope you know you'll always have an ally and friend in me. Thank you for teaching me everything you have, and I hope it's you that calls me out if I, a cis man, ever get out of hand. Be well and be true, my friend.
Hey, Riss. So we're doing this thing here is why everybody loves you, and I can't see why anybody wouldn't love you. I mean, this project's going to be huge because of it. Why do I love you? Why don't I love you? Seriously, you are one of the most warm-hearted and kind and empathetic people I've ever met in my life. And you came at a time where I was at a really low point in my life, and you saw that and you were aware of it, and you never judged me for it, and you never condemned me for the fucked up and stupid decisions I was making. And instead you said, you know what? I could see who she is underneath all of it, and she's beautiful and she's my people, and I'm going to welcome her in. And I don't think I don't know if you can understand how much that did mean to me when I've always had to be the strong one. And I've always had to pretend like I was okay to find somebody that said, no, it's okay if you're not okay with me. And I wasn't for quite a few times. And you were a safe place for me. And you were one of the very few safe places that I didn't feel judged and that I didn't feel like I had to put on the tough girl act. And you saved me more times than I can count. And you saved my sanity, and you saved me, and you helped me just be better. You helped me be a better friend and a better person and a better mom and just a better person to myself. And it's just your beautifulness that allows that to happen, and your loving, just caring, just way about you. And I knew you weren't going to coddle me, but I knew you weren't going to stop loving me either if I fucked up here and there. And I don't think I can ever thank you or repay you at any point in my life for helping me with that. And the only thing I can do is to hope that I can be there for you like you were there for me, and I can someday be as strong as you are. I mean, you have more strength in the tip of your nose than I have in my entire self-being, in my entire body. And I know you always say I'm one of the strongest people you know, and I really hope you know that you set an amazing example for me to be strong in the way that I am, and for me to come out of what I need to come out of and what I have come out of. And a lot of that was following your lead and just the love you gave that made that possible. It was the love that you gave me that said, holy shit, I'm a fucking bad bitch. And she's somebody that really loves me, that continuously shows me that I really am a bad fucking bitch and I can do this. And not that you would be disappointed in me. It was how fucking proud you would be that when I do pull out of this and say, holy shit, look what I can do. I love you, girl. I love you. And I'm so proud to call you my family. And I'm so proud to know that when I look back at my son and say,
these are the role models that you have that I thought were the best for you, that you're one of them. And it's through you that he's going to learn compassion and love and how to accept and how to be tough and how to stand up. And you teach me how to do that for him too. I'm so proud of you and I love you so much. And call me whenever you want to and text me whenever you want to. Sometimes I just need your foot up my ass to get out of bed and get my ass moving. I love you, girl.
We want to thank the podcasting community and the activist community for all of their messages of support. We'd like to give Marissa the best send off into her science vagina recovery that we can. And we are so warmed by all the messages of support, all of the reasons why Marissa is such an amazing person to know. And if you have her in your life, whether in person or from afar, she will change and love and support you. So we're just giving that back to her. Thank you so much for listening to all of these messages. Go support Marissa on GoFundMe, her website, rissmccool.com. Buy her books, become a patron, show her the love that she needs right now to get through these tough times.